Once upon a time, there was a heart so gentle that even a whisper could wound it. Words cut deeper than swords, and silence felt heavier than storms. This soul lived in a world where people threw stones of judgment and anger, and every stone left a scar. But one night, under the stillness of the moon, something awakened within. A truth so powerful that it silenced every storm forever. From that moment on, no insult, no betrayal, no pain could ever touch that soul again. And today, you will hear that truth, the one that makes you unshakable, calm, and free from everyone's power to hurt you. We often believe that others have the power to control our emotions, that their words can make us angry, their silence can make us insecure, their rejection can break us. But the truth is, no one truly controls how you feel unless you hand them that power. The illusion of control is born from attachment, the belief that your worth depends on how others treat you, how they see you, or how much they value you. This illusion keeps you trapped, reacting to every opinion, every judgment, every passing mood of another person. People can say cruel things, they can ignore you, they can betray you, but their actions are only noise. It is your interpretation of that noise that creates pain. The same words that shatter one person might mean nothing to another, and that difference lies only in the strength of your inner world. The moment you stop depending on others to validate your peace, you begin to see how powerless they truly are over you. You realize that what once hurt you no longer reaches the depth of your heart because you have reclaimed your center. Every time you react with anger or sadness to someone's behavior, you hand them a piece of your inner control. You let them dictate the temperature of your emotions. But when you observe without reacting, when you remain calm in the face of provocation, you are no longer a puppet of circumstance. You become the master of your inner world. This is not coldness. It is clarity, the understanding that your emotions belong to you, not to the world around you. The illusion fades, and you begin to see that peace is not something others can give or take. It is something you choose to protect. Pain has a strange way of speaking, though it never uses words. It enters quietly, through betrayal, loss, or disappointment, and teaches lessons no comfort ever could. Most people run from pain, trying to numb it, hide it, or blame it on others, never realizing that pain is not meant to punish, but to reveal. It shows you where you are still weak, where you still depend on others for peace, where your heart still clings to illusions. Every ache, every wound, every silent tear carries a message that says, "This is where you must grow." When you start listening instead of resisting, pain becomes your greatest teacher. It strips away everything false, the masks you wear to please others, the roles you play to be accepted, the expectations that keep you trapped to disappointment. Pain makes you meet yourself, raw and real, beyond the noise of pride and fear. It forces reflection, asking questions that comfort never asks. Who am I without what I lost? Why do I react this way? What do I still fear? In those questions, wisdom begins to root. Every heartbreak builds strength in places you once thought were broken. Every rejection pushes you closer to self-acceptance. Every failure teaches you to rely on your own resilience. Pain refines you, like fire purifying gold. It burns away what is unnecessary, leaving behind only what is pure and strong. You stop running from it and start respecting it. The same moments that once shattered you become your foundation. Slowly, you begin to realize that pain is not the end of peace, but the path to it. It has always been the doorway through which the weak become wise, the hurt become healed, and the restless finally find calm. There comes a moment when you realize that reacting to everything around you only deepens your suffering. Every argument you answer, every insult you defend, every situation you rush to control drains your peace. The world is full of noise, and every time you react, you let that noise enter your heart. But when you stop reacting and begin observing, something powerful happens. Silence becomes your strength. Instead of being pulled into the chaos, you start to rise above it. You begin to see that most things don't deserve your energy, and not everything needs a response. Calm is not weakness, it is mastery. It takes strength to stay composed when someone tries to provoke you. It takes wisdom to stay quiet when your ego wants to prove a point. The moment you stop letting emotions dictate your reactions, you start healing. Because reaction is often the voice of pain, but calm is the voice of understanding. You start realizing that not everything that hurts deserves attention, and not everyone who challenges you deserves an answer. You begin to understand that peace is more valuable than being right. When you choose not to react, you break the cycle that keeps pain alive. You take the power back from those who try to control you through your emotions. Silence becomes your shield. Patience, your weapon. The world loses its grip on your heart because your response is no longer automatic, it's intentional. What once provoked you now passes through you like wind through an open window. The same situations that once broke your peace now test it and fail. You learn that healing is not about changing the world, but about changing your response to it. And in that space of calm, you become untouchable.
Pain can destroy you, or it can shape you into something unbreakable. The difference lies in what you do with it. Every time life wounds you, it gives you a choice to remain the same or to rise stronger. When you stop seeing pain as something unfair and start viewing it as a forge, you begin to understand its purpose. Fire doesn't destroy metal, it purifies it. In the same way, emotional pain burns away weakness, fear, and dependency, leaving behind a stronger version of you. Every heartbreak that made you question your worth was preparing you to build it from within. Every betrayal that shattered your trust was teaching you to rely on your intuition. Every failure that made you doubt yourself was strengthening your endurance. Pain teaches lessons that comfort never can. It forces you to grow in silence, to rebuild without applause, and to believe in yourself even when no one else does. Those lessons harden you, not into coldness, but into clarity, a calm strength that doesn't crumble under pressure. Over time, you begin to wear your scars like armor. They no longer remind you of what hurt you, but of what you survived. You realize that every painful chapter has carved something powerful inside you. Patience, understanding, resilience. The things that once broke you become the proof that you can endure anything. Pain no longer feels like a curse, but like a silent ally that molded your strength. You stop trying to escape it and start using it as fuel. The more you accept it, the stronger you grow. Eventually, you understand that pain was never your enemy. It was your greatest sculptor, shaping you into someone who cannot be shaken by the storms of life. Silence is not weakness. It is the language of strength that few understand. In a world that constantly demands reaction, silence becomes a rare form of power. When people try to provoke you, they expect anger, they expect defense, they expect noise. But when you respond with silence, you break their control. You show that your peace is not up for negotiation. Silence disarms the one who seeks conflict because it offers nothing to feed on. It keeps your energy contained and your dignity untouched. The one who can stay quiet in the middle of chaos is the one who has mastered self-control. Silence is not about ignoring, it is about understanding. You realize that not every opinion deserves an answer, not every insult requires defense, and not every battle is worth fighting. Silence gives you space to see things as they truly are, not as your emotions distort them. It allows time for clarity to rise before words escape your mouth. In that quiet space, you see that most conflicts are born from misunderstanding, and most pain is kept alive through reaction. By remaining silent, you break that chain. There is a calmness that grows in silence, a quiet confidence that doesn't seek validation. When you stop explaining yourself to those who are determined not to understand, you protect your inner world. Silence becomes a shield that guards your peace and a mirror that reflects the truth of others' intentions. Those who mistake your silence for weakness fail to see the strength it takes to stay composed when your heart burns to respond. Over time, silence teaches you the art of emotional mastery, how to stand firm without fighting, how to stay centered without speaking, and how to let peace speak louder than words ever could. Freedom begins the moment you stop letting others decide who you are or how you should feel. As long as your happiness depends on people's approval, you remain chained to their moods, their opinions, and their acceptance. True freedom is born when you take full ownership of your emotions, when you no longer wait for someone to make you feel valued, respected, or loved. You start realizing that peace is not found in what others give you, but in what you give yourself. Every time you look outward for validation, you hand away a piece of your inner power. But when you look inward, you find everything you were searching for. Self-ownership means understanding that you are responsible for the energy you carry and the reactions you choose. The world may be loud, unfair, and unpredictable, but you decide what enters your heart and what leaves it. When you own yourself completely, no one's words can define you, and no rejection can destroy you. You stop being a mirror reflecting the world's chaos and become a light that stays steady regardless of the darkness around it. That stability comes from knowing your worth, trusting your values, and standing firmly in them, even when others don't see your vision. Owning yourself also means forgiving yourself for mistakes and not allowing the past to chain your present. You stop comparing your journey to others and realize that growth cannot be measured by anyone's timeline but your own. You no longer try to prove anything to anyone because you are no longer seeking permission to be at peace. Freedom through self-ownership is quiet, calm, and powerful. It is the ability to walk through life with steady eyes and a still heart, untouched by noise, guided only by your inner truth.